So we've got some new Assassin's Creed Red information that's just been released, and also some stuff from the past few weeks that I've not yet talked about on this channel. And whether these new quote-unquote leaks that just got released yesterday are accurate or not, I still want to share them with you for discussion. Now if you don't know, it is pretty common for Assassin's Creed to have any information for its upcoming games released quite early, whether it's leaks or announcements, and of course Assassin's Creed Red is no exception. I've already made a video on other codename Red leaks and information if you want to check that video out too. So what I want to do in this video is go over everything that was released quite recently that I've not yet talked about, and just give my own thoughts to it. Oh yeah, and my Assassin's Creed Red wishlist video will be coming out quite soon. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, I want to go over the information that was released just yesterday as of me making this video. Now these quote-unquote leaks come over from a user named Mr. Who Is Gamer, and there's a chance that these leaks could be false. But I've seen some pretty big game journalists over on Twitter share this information, so I figured it's worth talking about. Oh yeah, and I also messaged the leaker himself and asked if the leaks were genuine, and he responded with this. Make of that what you will. So the first leak that he mentioned was the game features mythological elements like ghosts, demons and yokai. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're probably thinking, mythological elements? God damn it. But that's really nothing new for the franchise, especially in the last 4 games where mythological elements were quite heavily included. So even Sherlock Holmes is not needed to deduce that point. And also mythological elements in real Japanese history played a significant role in shaping their culture and traditions. So if anything, if Ubisoft did not include mythological elements, would they really be staying true to history? Yes, these supernatural entities did not exist in real life, I'm not an idiot, but they were a fundamental part of what ancient Japan believed in. Now the leak mentioned ghosts, demons and yokai, which is pretty interesting. Now if you don't know what yokai are, they're pretty much classed as supernatural entities and spirits that were heavily prominent in Japanese folklore. This is very fascinating because there's a lot of different yokais that are prevalent in Japanese folklore. There's one called Tengu, which are mountain and forest dwelling spirits known for their martial arts skills. There's Kitsune, which are foxes capable of magical feats like shapeshifting into human form. And my personal favourite are the Oni, which are like these demons that possess incredible strength. For all my Teen Wolf watchers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The leak did mention demons, and Oni in Japanese folklore are a kind of demon, so that could be a potential thing. Now personally, I'm open to the idea of incorporating folklore, as long as it's handled with care, similar to Ghost of Tsushima's approach, which did a great job of balancing historical context with mythological elements. The second leak he mentioned was that the story will be split 60% for the male protagonist Yasuke and 40% for the female protagonist Naomi. Now that instantly gets rid of the idea you might have that we'd have a choice in which protagonist to use, similar to Odyssey and Valhalla. This 60-40 split with each protagonist is a bit strange. It does definitely give us a dual perspective on Codename Red's story, where we'll be able to experience it from 2 distinct cultural and martial viewpoints. This could allow for a more focused and cohesive story, with both Yasuke and Naomi bringing their own unique background, skills and personal journey to the table. I'm pretty sure Syndicate also had a 60-40 split in both Jacob and Evie. I know in that game it was balanced between them both until the near end of the chapters, where it was more Jacob focused. Maybe we'll see a similar situation in Assassin's Creed Red, where the ending chapters could focus more on either Yasuke or Naomi. We'll just have to wait and see. I really do hope Ubisoft does Yasuke's story the way it should be done, because a lot of media that focuses on Yasuke is kind of underwhelming. The next leak that he mentioned was that the story of Codename Red will start off as a revenge story for Naomi, as she sets out to avenge her father's death. Now this is a very standard blueprint for Assassin's Creed. I mean, how many games in this franchise are revenge stories? So this is nothing out of the ordinary in my opinion. I just hope the writers for the game can pull this revenge story off well. What I want to see straight off the bat is an emotional and personal stake in Naomi's journey. This is the perfect example of how a powerful narrative driver can create a deep connection between us and of course the protagonist. However, I will say a revenge story and a plot needs to be handled very carefully to avoid cliches. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how her story intertwines with Yasuke's and whether their paths will cross or run parallel to each other. That part we don't know yet. The last leak of this new information given to us is that Naomi, who is the shinobi female protagonist, will actually have her own DLC or expansion in 2025. Now this is pretty surprising actually. I did have a feeling they'd add DLC or expansion to Codename Red, because after all, this game is a pretty big project, but I didn't expect it to just focus on Naomi. So low-key, that kind of makes me concerned for what happens in the actual story relating to Yasuke, because why just Naomi? I guess it will be cool to develop her character and story beyond the main game. Maybe it'll delve into more of her background, her motivations and even the aftermath of her story for revenge. This also does raise a question about the nature of this DLC, whether it will continue directly from the events of the main game or explore a new storyline or setting entirely, similar to Siege of Paris in Valhalla or the Hidden Ones DLC in Origins. So those are the quote-unquote leaks we got that were released yesterday as of me making this video. What are your thoughts on this information? Do you like the fact that we're supposedly getting a 60% focus on Yasuke and a 40% on Naomi? Okay, now what I want to do for this next part of the video is go over some more rumors and leaks that were released a few weeks ago that I have not yet talked about in a video on this channel. So starting off, around a week and a half ago, Ubisoft had a Q3 investors call, and in that call they revealed that Assassin's Creed Red is set to launch in the fiscal year that ends on March 31st, 2025. This announcement pretty much indicates that the game will be available within the next 418 days at most. Now of course this represents a massive time frame. However, it is anticipated that the game will come out in November of 2024 this year. This does make the most sense actually, considering that pretty much every Assassin's Creed game usually gets released in October or November, which is the holiday release period for games. Another indicator that this game will be releasing quite soon is from this image, which shows the LinkedIn profile of Philippe Belanga Fraser, a capture artist working on the game. We can see in this image that they've been working on creating promotional gameplay videos, trailers, walkthroughs, and B-rolls for Codename Red. This type of content is often produced as a game nears completion, and the marketing campaign is about to start, indicating that Codename Red may be aiming for a 2024 release. So don't be surprised if we see a cinematic trailer or an announcement for the game quite soon. Now this next piece of Assassin's Creed Red information comes from a user named Bunny the Villain, who is a Ubisoft partner and a content creator. This person got their information from a supposed trusted source. Now I would take this information with a grain of salt, as it does seem a bit strange. Especially the first part, which says that it will be the most enjoyable game in the franchise. Now I have no idea what that means or what that is even based on, as that's an opinion and not a rumor or a leak, so make of that what you will. The next point was quite interesting, and it says that there will be a world premiere trailer in May 2024, which fun fact is the same month as my birthday. I don't know why I said that, nobody cares. This world premiere would serve as the first glimpse into Assassin's Creed Red, from the game's setting, the tone, and possibly we'll see the protagonist. The timing of this premiere would pretty much allow Ubisoft to build some sort of anticipation and interest leading into the summer, which is of course prime time for gaming news and events. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how much of this game's mechanics, storyline, and mythological elements will be teased in the first trailer. This next quote-unquote leak mentions that we'll see a gameplay showcase at Ubisoft Forward in July 2024. Now this one does kind of make the most sense, as there is a Ubisoft Forward event at that time. This will also be 2 months after the supposed world premiere trailer. I wonder what we'll see in the gameplay trailer, besides the obvious answer, which is gameplay of course. I love to see some combat, exploration, and maybe even some interaction with the game's world. Now the last point is of course what I mentioned earlier, which is the official release will be November 2024, which I do agree with. So there you have it, that's pretty much everything up to date related to Codename Red that was released this month in February. If you want to see me talk about more in-depth leaks like the protagonist, gameplay features, the world, and so on, then check out this video. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video and want to stay up to date with Assassin's Creed, then just simply hit that subscribe button. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.